It was silly how you went against everything you believed in and started to experiment with drugs. How you going, mate? How's the dog?
Getting older, getting slower.
How are you going?
Yeah, not too bad.
I'm starting to feel a bit rough around the edges.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, good to see ya. Stay well, eh? See anything big? There's fish, but I don't want to see a shark. Sorry, that's just a local person standing on the bank. We're actually paddling on the water around the edge of the bay. You began to experiment with drugs. You began to, against all, you promised yourself you'd never do it. I'll never smoke or drink or take drugs. You promised yourself. You'd seen what had happened to some members in the family. I'm just going to cough, viewers, sorry. Sorry, viewers. You'd seen members in the family, aunties, uncles, maybe mum or dad, stepfather or stepmother, abusing themselves, and you said, oh well, I'm not going to end up like that. And you promised yourself you wouldn't. But yet, for some strange reason, you did. You ended up experimenting with alcohol, drugs, and other why don't we go around other chemicals and things that started to lead to your demise. And it didn't feel that way. That's how they're designed. Didn't feel that way when you started. But as the drugs and the chemicals and the alcohol or whatever it was began to sink its teeth into you and you become dependent, because that's what they're designed to do, make you dependent and reliant on them, the whole course of your life progressively changed, and not for good. You began to become paranoid. You began to see things differently. You weren't the center of attention anymore. You become an aggravation. You become aggravated within yourself. You lose trust. You become suspicious. You're just not the same. You think you're part of a group, but nobody's going to stand for you or believe in you. They abandon you. But you remain loyal to the problem, and the problem's the habits. They're called bad habits. Drugs, alcohol, other chemicals, pharmaceutical drugs. I've had a wife that was, and I didn't realise, totally and utterly dependent on pharmaceutical drugs. And it really wasn't a matter of solving a problem. It was a habit that she created for herself and escalated. And this is what drugs do. As they become a fundamental part of our life, they have more influence over us and more priority. See, the drugs become the priority rather than the actual looking after of ourselves. These things become the priority, and people watch us harming ourselves and we don't listen. We just don't listen. That's harming you and we don't listen. And of course, we are not the same person anymore. We can become violent, hostile, we can become hermitish, we just become unsocial, we can become very selfish, horribly selfish, to be honest, terribly selfish. And we're not the same happy person anymore. Our parents become concerned, they try and counsel us, try and warn us of what we've become. And as our life begins to fall apart before our eyes, and we've ignored all proper and wholesome counsel, we fail to realize that we are morphing into a completely different person. Our countenance changes. We're not so innocent anymore in our face, in our actions. We become very deceitful in the way that we feel and how we perceive things. The habits become the central focus of our life rather than the people around us, although we make the people feel like they're important to us, but they're not as important as the habits. And this starts to show, and people resent that. They resent that. And so what it does is it separates relationships. In the end, relationships are severed, and usually the only people that hang around are the ones that are family. And if things get real bad, even they don't hang around for what's coming because it's all predictable. Drugs have been around long enough for people to know, and alcohol and all the rest of it, for how it's going to end up when you try and help these people improve. Because at the end of the day, the only person that can really help them is themselves. And these things are designed in a way in which they become the primary influence. They become more the feelings that, and the influences that you get from the drugs on the inside, the way they manipulate emotions and mindsets and cause withdrawals and things, they become the priority because the pain has to go away. Okay? The pain has to go away, so they've become a problem. But the pain won't go away now unless you have the substance of choice. So a lot of these, well, most of these people find a baseline that they'll sit on intake, which affects their function. It still affects their function. But keeps away the aggravation and torment of not having it far enough for them to be able to manage themselves and possibly a job. But you'll find a lot of these people, when you look into their private lives, are very unhappy and very sad, and they're used to losing. And they know that it's the habits that have caused that and create that loss, constant loss in their life. And they just continue to go along with it. They don't correct anything, they don't stop anything, they don't fix anything. And so, whilst they've got their baseline, right, and that doesn't mean they're fixing anything. While they've got their baseline of supply, chemical supply, and possibly a dysfunctional relationship of some kind where even the partner's just a form of supply, which is all destructive and wicked. It's all leading nowhere. They just go through life until it's over. They usually end up alone with pets that are going to be reliant on them, or some kind of dysfunctional partner that really doesn't care what they do or what abuse they dish out towards themselves or them. And this is what community structure tried to prevent, but you can't prevent it because human nature inevitably will, as far as it can, lead people down this path. It's atrocious, it's horrible, it's destructive, but that's just how it ends up. And you can change it if you choose to, or you can stay that way if you want. It's all going to be on you in the end. But this is a picture of how life works out for many.